King. Sir King. Sir King.
Canvas.
Sir King. Sir King.
Canvas.
Sir King. Sir King.
All right, what's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? It's a lot going on, as I guess we see. But thank you for being here. You can be anywhere, but you chosen to be here. So I'm truly grateful and thankful. Thankful, Ray Black, for that you're here. Thank you so much for being here. Please feel free to thumbs up the live. So let's get into it, okay? Regarding real world news, I don't know what the hell is going on. Trump keep pushing back. Like, this is the thing. What's up, Bo? Girl, where you been, Bo 32? Good to see you, Bo 32. I hope all is well with you. Well, I guess all is well with you. You joined us today. What's up, Nessa ABCDEFG? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Diva D. Good to see you. Thank you for being here as well. And I already said hello to Ray Black, but I'll say hello again. Thank you for being here as well. Now listen, y'all. Oh, what's up, Detached? How you doing? Thank you as well for detaching yourself from reality and being here. Okay? So, excuse me, y'all may hear me burp. Okay, I'm gonna be like Jay Wilson. You gonna hear everything that I swallow. Excuse me, I wouldn't burp on y'all like that, but I know he would. Listen, y'all. StreamYard is changing shit over and over and over again. Not even messing with the how things are laid out. So hold on one second. Oh, child. Lord have mercy. Hold on, y'all. Damn. They're messing up my vibe. They're messing up my vibe. I don't. So, anyway. What? Hold on, y'all. One second. Okay, here we go. All right. So let's talk about real quick. Um, they playing like Donald Trump came out here. This is the thing: when you don't know your enemy or your adversary or just people in general, they have the advantage of not knowing what they can do. But once you start seeing them in action, they don't pretty much change their script, and that's the situation with Donald Trump. What's up, Auntie Donna, baby? How you doing? Good to see you. They don't change their script, so he out here talking about um, today was the day. If they didn't reach an agreement, then the tariffs are going to be put for August 1st. Well, everybody's like, yo, bro, what's the point of going August 1st? If the tariffs, you push the deadline till today, so let it be what it's going to be. But he like, oh, if you gonna get a letter and then everything will go into effect July 1st. So everybody's like, yo, this man is bluffing. He really don't want to push these tariffs in. So everybody's just pretty much clowning on Trump right now because they know that he not really. What's up, Miss LA? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for being here. They not really gonna move until he move. Until he say, okay, it's 50% tariffs, 23, 35, 10 on this date now today. Then they just not gonna move. You see what I'm saying? All that bluffing stuff that normally would happen with negotiations don't really happen on the world stage because people seeing you what you do and how you move. So that's what's going on. In case y'all, my people, if y'all like. So next week is crypto week. I just found this out yesterday. So next week, in terms of Washington legislation, is crypto week. Now that's a big deal because listen, going into effect on Monday, July 14th, is that ISO 2002? Is ISO 20? I don't know, ISO 20002, where they were supposed to have this done in January or March, but a lot of the banks said they weren't going to be ready then, and now they pushed it to July. So July 14th, a lot of these banks are moving to this ISO where they're supposed to be more modernized language that they speak when they do transactions. So listen, if y'all looking into crypto or y'all want to take your chance into crypto, I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm seeing shit move a certain way. And I feel they going, oh, let me just tell you another thing. Yes, ODS is in the title. Hallelujah. Um, Let me tell y'all something. So I was looking at my bank, and one of the banks is telling people that about they're switching to a new system on January 14th. So then I said, "Oh shit!" I'm like, you know what? This is real. This is actually real. So they're like saying, "Oh, wire transfers won't be." I don't know, won't go through on this day because they are doing something to get into compliance. So I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, okay. So I'm just telling y'all, if y'all want to like look at some crypto that y'all see may go up or whatever, I'm not telling y'all which ones because y'all like to hold my hand to the fire. Y'all do y'all research, and then I'm starting to see certain things, certain cryptos starting to move, and I'm like, oh damn. So we'll see. But I mean, if this is a chance that y'all want to take on some crypto shit, this is the time because um a lot of things are happening now. A lot of stuff they're moving into that whole crypto, smart contracts, digital stuff, modernizing the financial system. That's the best way I can say. Modernizing the financial system, which I feel the first step is going to be that ISO 2020, which will get everybody to be speaking the same financial language around the globe. Okay, y'all do your own homework on that. What's the other thing we're talking about? That's about it. So about the gym, right? I told you I was going through this whole gym thing, and one of my gyms closed. I just decided I'm gonna go with the hood gym for now because actually I liked working out there today. There wasn't a lot of people in there, and I was actually thinking, it being a smaller gym makes my workout more succinct and focused. And I was like, you know what, this may actually work out. Let me try and give it a chance. So I was relieved because that kind of was bothering me a little bit that I wasn't able to work out like I was accustomed to. But now I think I found the answer. But it's just gonna be contingent on the time of day that I go. All right, what's up, foolish? Oh, sorry, foolish dreamer. What's going on? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for being here. All right. So the other thing I want to tell you is like I got great joy out of like five. Like y'all know I don't like first person games, right? So I'm like anytime y'all do a search on first, like what's the best game out there for the console? I like third person shooter, action, adventure, whatever. But it's really hard. I'm not doing no Red Dead Redemption, and then they want to do the ones they recommend aren't the best ones. So there was a game I played like years ago called Titanfall, but it was on the Xbox. So I'm like, damn, I'm going through it. AI is telling me those the best games. I'm like, but didn't I play that game? But I'm like, I'm looking at the release date. The release date is like 2016 or 2008. I'm like, well, I don't remember playing that game. So I went and I found a game called Titan 2022. No, sorry, not 22. Titanfall 2. I am thoroughly pleased with the game because it's really interesting. It's tech. It deals with machines, humans, shooter. It's first person, but it does have some third person aspects to it. So I just want to share that with y'all. How like y'all can find a hidden gem that isn't modern and it still bring you like great joy. So yeah. So I just want to share that with y'all. All right, Foolish Dreamer says, "What's your take on the new rules Carnival Cruise Line set forth? Racism or reasonable?" Well, even though this is a deviation for what we're going to talk about, it's actually interesting you bring that up because I was listening to some commentary about that yesterday. Um, I think it is the effect of bias marketing. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you why. Because these videos are going around viral of showing Carnival in a certain light, right? And most of the people I think suspect at Carnival are white, right? And they can't really connect to the urban culture. So when they see that in social media videos of people twerking and dance offs and all that, and most of the music is hip hop, they're like, "Oh my God, our brand is being soiled," and then people don't want to go because it's ratchet, right? Um, I don't think it's blatant racism, but the music that they're singing it out, they're not singing out no country night. No country, no country. So I guess in a way, if you want to say, "Oh, you're singing out only hip hop music," But then again, I'm hearing that people are fighting, people are doing things on the cruises that are associated. But I just think it's like, yo, that's I don't know. It's they ship, so they can do what the hell they want to do. They feel it's a safety thing. Like I don't know. That's a good question. I don't. I really don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's a brand situation. It's a brand. Social media, I feel, is the big thing behind that. Their decision making. But to sit up there and say no hip hop, no, that kind of is racist. I think you should say no. What behavior is going to be tolerated and what is, and I think they did put a mandate out on what they're going to tolerate and what they're not. But to be honest, they tell you right there and there they don't want a certain clientele on their ship or to behave a certain way. But like I said, I'm not really truly informed on that. I just commented on it from afar. So hopefully that answers your question. It's about business. It's about media perception. You know, if you see a bunch of black people up there twerking, and I mean, let me be honest, I've seen a lot of white people twerking to the black on the videos too. Getting down, especially with the boots on the ground song and all that stuff. So I don't know. This is very interesting why they decided to do that. So did Carnival respond? I don't know. I think Carnival responded with a policy, right? Carnival is not going to backtrack on that because they're not, because they're going to sit there and say if they've noticed the increased behavior when certain events are being played. I mean, when certain events happen, if you have a hip hop dance contest and then they start breaking out fighting, well, Carnival's going to say we even know that an increased level of violence when we have this kind of dance contest. We don't see this when they have an opera contest, right? So they're going to tell you right there, it's the activity, and they're there. Their job is to promote safety. So that's what I got to say to that. All right, anything else? No, that is about it. Elon. Elon is back at it again. He's pretty much said he don't give a damn about if the Tesla shares from what go down. He told a man who recommended that the board get involved to shut up. And Elon says this is what needs to be done. Now, as I was walking today, I said, Elon, you are a damn genius. Because if Elon did not backtrack, because everybody was mad at Elon. Elon Teslas were being torn up in the street, people boycotting, everybody mad at Elon. So Elon's like, you know what? I got to save my legacy and my brand. So let me sit up here and do an about face on Trump and start the damn party that says it's going to actually save America and become a hero. That's one way to sit up there and flip the script, because no matter what would have happened, even if Elon went back to Tesla, he still would have been known as someone who caused a lot of government cuts. With that being said, if you have a job, please do what you can to keep it, because I heard somebody that got fired from their job. I'm like, Lord have mercy. It's about to get rough out here. I was listening to somebody podcast today, and they were saying like college kids coming out of school got it the worst because people look for experience. AI is involved in the situations. Managers are not even checking the applications and stuff like that. So it's definitely crazy out here. So, um, but I think with great adversity comes great opportunity. So stay encouraged. All right. Yes, like Diva D says, tap that like button, please and thank you. All right. And also, if you want to, feel free to send a gesture to $sign so King Crown is truly appreciated. Now let's get into the news that you absolutely cannot use. I have a lot to say. Um, After being on ODS panel last night. All right. We'll be right back, y'all. We'll be right back. I'm sure I gotta figure out this layout. Hold on. We'll be right back. Ooh, hold on. Trying to figure out which one I want to play. All right, we'll be right back, y'all.
Every time the beat drop.
Oh, hell no! Okay.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah. All right, let's get into it real quick, y'all. I was over there on ODS panel, so let's start with ODS first. Um, how can I say this? This is gonna get into my testimonial thing, but let's start with let's start with ODS panel. So I was over there on ODS panel. I went over there yesterday because there was a lot going on about doxing, and Lemon jumped up, I guess, on the panel and all that stuff. But what I wanted to say about that, Lemon did not answer those questions correctly. Like, there's a certain way you have to, when you part of a channel and you run a channel, that is a major responsibility, especially when it's a channel that's broadcasted. Let me say, if your channel can accumulate over 100 views, maybe even 50 views, and I'm not being facetious when I say this, because that means that your video was watched most likely 50 times by 50 different people. Now, people watch on multiple devices, so that could be, whatever. But you have to be careful what you say. Now, if you start, your shit is like in the thousands, that, you got to be careful what you say. And let's not even talk about the hundreds of thousands. You have to be careful of what is coming out about your channel, whether it be true, whether it be false, right? And there's ways to which to say things about your channel that you need to put a kibosh to. And what Lemon did not do was put a kibosh that his channel, I mean, not his channel, but his background apparatus that he has to where his people are, such as Discord, is up there doxing folks. He gonna sit up there and say, "Oh, I wasn't there." No, I don't give a fuck if you was there. Did you know? Were you aware? Was this brought to you? Did you stop it once you learned? Not were you there? A lot of shit happens when we not around. Because if you have an operated platform where people are getting together and being social, you can't be there 24 hours a day. You just can't, you know? But shit goes down, and once you learn, you have to tell the people, okay, I learned of it, I did something about it. He didn't do that. So that's why I hopped on ODS. I was like, what? And then as the more, Sour Patch came up there, Beans and Cornbread came up there. I don't know this whole trifecta of Beans and Cornbread, Sour Patch, and Mika. But, I mean, not Mika, Mika. I don't know what it is. But to me, it seems like those three women are jockeying to see who's gonna be the head HBIC. That's what it seems outwardly looking in. But the crazy part about that was y'all sitting up here doxing folks. Now then, this is the thing. They sit up there and dox Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson ain't on this application like that. Why does y'all dox Michael Jackson? They sit up there and said they dox, putting the pieces together, they dox Michael Jackson to protect Lemon. So then you got to learn about, okay, when did this doxing occur? Was it when Michael Jackson said, "Stop touching me, we got something for you"? Was that when that happened? Because you got to put the timeline as to when was Michael Jackson doxed? When Michael Jackson doxed when he popped up on the platform, or when he set up there and threatened Lemon and said he got something, or they got something for him? And then they got files on people. So I don't know. I don't know. That's the crazy thing. Like Lemon, you gotta get your shit. Now, I'm not telling him what to do, but there's like Lemon is like a yellow ball of yarn. And I know I got the Chameleon, and then I'm gonna tell you why I got Lemon the Chameleon. Lemon is like a yellow ball of yarn. There's a lot of stuff entangled over there with what's going over there. There's people over there doing some stuff. We're trying to impress Lemon, and Lemon is his actions are trying to galvanize them to do stuff like that to remain in his good favor, right? But little do they know, Lemon gonna get tired of them, or Lemon gonna use them in a way or in a capacity that's gonna piss them the fuck off. Now, what Lemon needs to be careful of, if they got Michael Jackson's information, do they have your information, Lemon? And are you gonna be cognizant of not to piss any of them off? That's what you need to do, because Lemon, people are catching on to your info. You are using people up, using them for content, and when they get up mad and express and leave, you go and find new people to replace them. Right? Like you trying to bring over these new people. Oh, you got some more people that you done ventured over somewhere and got them from the depths of the internet and now trying to bring them over. You, Lemon, you That's a very dangerous game that you playing. Because one day you're gonna run out of people. And you're gonna have a whole crap load of angry motherfuckers ready to take your ass down. You don't have a well thought out plan. Your plan is just to keep going and going and going and see who in the fuck that you could use up, right? But you done pissed off a hell of a lot of people. A hell of a lot of people. And when you do that, you give them reason to link up like Voltron and take your ass down when the opportunity presents itself. I'm just saying, be careful how you're moving because you're fucking pissing off a lot of motherfucking people. But just by your mouth alone. That shit that you said about Resto's wife, oh my damn God. I'm like, oh my God. Like, okay, all right. You think this is like character TV? There is no cut. There is no credits ran at the end of your broadcast. There's no introduction saying, "Oh, Drew as Lemon, and this person is that person, and Lolo as Purple Head." There ain't no introduction on your live introducing no characters. There ain't no commercials. There ain't no cuts. There ain't no scene. There ain't no special guests. Ain't no motherfucking outro. So you can miss me with that damn shit that this is a show. Cause no, these people are taking this shit as a real life, putting their real life emotions in it, and you using them up and spitting out beans and cornbread. Talking about she done put her wrench back into the pot, and it's done with you. I don't know. I don't know what game you got playing, but you better have a well thought out motherfucking exit plan. I'm just what I'm saying because you pissing off a lot of motherfuckers. You think this is entertainment? You think it is fun or whatever? Like, okay, okay, all right. Don't be too smart for your own good, because there's a trail of people who don't like you because of the way you treated them. Okay, I don't even know. And let me just say this, and I will say it again: the lemon y'all see today ain't the lemon that I sat next to me. He not the lemon that sat next to me for 4 or 5 years. How many years you want to know? I did not see any inclination of that shit. I didn't see it on the front end. I didn't see it on the back end. I knew he had a little bit of a temper and a little bit of a mouth on him, but usually his conscience will steer him from going overboard. But all this lying, this deceit, these playing shit, I like it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So I guess get ready for a new batch of people to roll up in here and I guess infiltrate the area. Mm. But see, that's the thing. Lemon, the people you playing with, they don't play by B sector rules. They don't have the consideration of, oh, Lemon, we know him now. No, no, you fuck with them, they're gonna fuck with you. What's up, Brixton, babe? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for being here. And they don't give two damn. So whether they call it AC, whatever they call it, adult dog protection services or whatever they want to do to enact their revenge on you because you done cursed them out. Like you have no like regard for people's wives, like or whatever companions. Like you say shit and you don't know. This is the thing. You don't know the trigger points of people. You don't know the trigger points of people. Like people could really get fixated on you because of the shit you said about their wife. Because they feel like I'm going to honor my wife at all costs. And you don't sit there and say some of the most heinous and disgusting things about people's wives and all. Okay, okay, okay. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. Okay. All right. That's all I really want to say. I mean, Lemon's a chameleon. I'm not. Lemon's a chameleon. He changes. He changes temperaments. Like you'll sit there and say, What's up, Bertha May Jackson? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Y'all go subscribe to Bertha May. He'll sit there and says, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to say that. I didn't mean to say that." And I'm like, he's very good at knowing who to be coy with. Very good. Very good. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I just snapped. I just snapped. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. And it won't happen again. I'm like, what? I don't know. I don't know. He didn't learn that from me. I'll tell you that much. He did not learn that from me. So, all right. So that's what I have to say. Um, Now let's go into my testimony about, because I see there's a lot of new people around, and I will say that yes, the beef sector has changed me. Right, the beef sector has changed me tremendously in real life, virtual life, and and I will break it down. Right, so the beef sector was like you can't trust nobody, and that applies to life too. You can't trust nobody, um, because those are, why the hell are you driving that fast? Because everybody knows, even in Avatar Nation, I would tell people, I say, you know what? The day you meet somebody is the day you have to plan on how you're going to fall out with them. And that's a messed up statement to say because rarely do friendships last forever. Case in point, look at my situation with Lemon. Met Lemon, had a virtual broadcastership with him, and now look how it's turned. And literally, the day that you meet somebody is the day you seriously have to simply say, how I'm going to handle the fallout or the separation of when we go our separate ways, which is messed up. Number two, don't think that people don't only like you. Sometimes people like you, but they like somebody else better or more. And don't think that when they're summoned or they feel that they can put themselves in a greater position or greater light, that they'll use you as a sacrificial lamb to get into the better graces with the person they actually like. And I feel that's where a lot of motherfuckers go wrong on here. They got a good, like, what was that situation with Lady Nika and Yaya? Yeah, Lady Nika like Yaya, but Yaya I forgot who was like somebody better than she like Lady Nika. And we were like, ooh, ooh. So, and I'm not saying that to be messy. I'm saying that to, what's up, Michi Black? I'm saying that to just give you an honest, true example of how people like other people more than they like you. Okay, what's up, Sincere Stadia? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for being here as well. Appreciate you. Long time no see. Y'all go subscribe to Sincere as well. She be over there having lives and things. Um, so that's something that I also wanted to tell you. What's another thing is um setting up stuff. Not setting up stuff in a bad way, but just setting up stuff like asking, like I can ask Bristol Babe, oh, did you know about that blue shirt? And Bristol be like, yeah, I knew about that blue shirt. Then by asking her, well, if only me and this other person knew about the blue shirt, then I automatically knew who told Brixton about the blue shirt. That's a simple example, but it's about, just I guess you could say it's tactical questioning, tactical positioning, chess not checkers, just situations and things like that. Just not being naive about your situation. How when you become the head honcho in charge, people ain't gonna celebrate you. Which is weird because life tells us what to do our best and be the greatest, but you can never ever estimate the hate that you're gonna get. It ain't because you didn't do nothing. It's not because you didn't do anything. It's like because you're showing other people's inferiority because you reached the pinnacle that they can't reach or have not reached yet. That's crazy. And another reason why I have ODS's name in the title because ODS, he apologized for something that happened 5 years ago. Now, 5 years, well, 4 or 5 years ago, Five Babe came on my channel and spoke to me, but he wanted to take that limelight. he wanted to take that spot, and I was letting Fire Babe ask or get out what she wanted to before I decided to interject, because I like to let people talk. When you cut people off, that's sometimes you cutting off information that you really wanted to hear. So on ODS's panel, I went up yesterday. He apologized for that because I guess he had a flashback as because like I wasn't up there, interrupting stuff and things like that, throwing off or getting the answers that he wanted. So I guess in that moment, he was like, he apologized for that because I guess he could see in the spotlight of where I was, how that could have been perceived or how that actually was at that moment. And I told him, I forgave him for that because I feel in all honesty, ODS has grown from where he was 4 years ago as a content creator. I felt 4 years ago, ODS was a cloud chaser. I mean, but we all cloud chase to get where we want to go. But I felt like he was a little bit immature in the way that he did things and led with his heart and not with his mind or his emotions than his mind. So I feel right now he's more of a seasoned content creator, but I think he also has greater appreciation the journey and the journey other people have been through, because right now he's in the spot that they once were in, and he sees a lot of things that they go through, that he's going through, and he has I think he can empathize with that a lot more. That's what I can say about that. So Sear says you might miss something cutting people off. Exactly, and that's why I just sit there and just let them talk until they can't talk no more. Because sometimes you just, and then some people are like, okay, well, he cut me off, but I don't feel like conjuring up the energy to speak again. So, until I'm able to say something. And then you give them the chance to have a second thought of reflecting on what they want to say. They're like, nah, I don't want to say that. So, Bristol Bay says, I think him bringing that up was definitely a moment of reflection and growth. I totally agree. It threw me off. It threw me off because you hear when I first responded. And then I said, "Oh, okay." I said, "Yeah, I understood where he was coming from." Because the apology 4 or 5 years after the fact, you're not expecting that. You just like, "Oh, what?" And then I processed what he was saying because I had to go back into my memory break and think about what he was talking about. But that's growth. That's growth. I mean, to be honest, he's showing more growth than Limit, and I'm not trying to be up here divisive, but I think the way that Limit has treated me is dog shit. To be honest, dog motherfucking shit. Um, but then again, do I want praise? No, I want no praise from that because Limit, you I don't know. Like I said, I don't know that Limit. That Limit y'all see now. I don't know that Limit. I don't know that Limit. I see. I don't know somebody. I don't know if he sold his soul and it got bidded for auction. I don't know, but that ain't that Limit I knew or thought I knew. I don't know. But then again, he said he had acted, so he may have been playing me. So I don't know. And then what's sad about that whole situation while we talk about my testimonial is that you don't really know, motherfucker. You really don't. That nigga sat next to me for 4 years, and I thought that was a real good dude. But then you see this shit that he doing, and I'm like, whoa, what? Who is this? What? I'm still waiting for somebody to come out and say surprise. Just it's a joke. I don't know. We heard it says, does SS know about the extra income hidden in a talent show? I don't know. I don't know. Is there limit on SSI? I don't know. I don't know nothing about no SSI or nothing about that when they come to limit. I don't know nothing about that. I wasn't in the talent show. I call it the binary talent show because I think binary was limited. I don't doing the whole thing. I don't know him either. This limit is a stranger to me for real. Like I said, so it's kind of spooky to me because I thought limit was different. I don't, it's totally different limit to be honest. Totally different limit. So, what my other testimony I want to say? Just surround yourself with good people. Like, just to be honest, everybody ain't for you, and like there are people who are spies sent into your operation to tear it down. You have to be cognizant of that. You have to be cognizant of what's up, soul sister. How you doing? Good to see you. You gotta be cognizant of what you tell people. Everybody ain't for you. Like everybody is not really for you. Um, I mean, also you get to learn life lessons faster than going through life itself. Like dealing with thousands of different personalities on the day end and knowing how to do it. And you can't really react the way you want to react because if you react a certain way, that person may take it to heart and just leave. And when that person leaves, that person taking 4 motherfuckers with them as well. That's the crazy part about it. Like, you don't understand that if I sit up here and curse out Detach myself or Ron P or Philly T, one of them, and they depart, they may take 3 other motherfuckers with them. So you just have to be careful how you treat people, right? And the same thing in life. You may curse out one person, you don't know that that person may know 3 other people if I start bad mouthing because of the way you treated them. So it's a lot of life lessons to be learned in this shit. To be honest, quick and fast to the hurry. Um, and the key thing is, be careful of what be careful of your mouth. Like your mouth can determine a lot of things, can bring life to a lot of things, and that's my main gripe with Limit. It's just that your mouth is vicious, but it's bringing life to a lot of things. It's bringing life to a lot of things, like for real, for real. So that's pretty. I mean, that's pretty much my betrayal. Oh, another thing. People will try to control you with money. People will literally try to control you with money. And that's why I tell people like, y'all really want to be like famous and stuff, but they control you with money. Right? People will try to in my situation, people will hold and dangle things in front of me, saying, oh, this, that, or they y'all, there are people who try to be ghost script writers. I'm no lie. There are people that you will never see who are ghost script writers who be like, why don't you do this? Oh, why don't you go do this? And then they'll send you like $100 or 200, depending on the moment. Go do that. Go do this. And you never see them, but they're trying to like control the narrative of a situation, right? But one of the people is Mama D. Now, Mama D, no disrespect to Mama D. Now, only reason I bring her up in this situation because I feel like she got that little bald headed wannabe pastor. She keep using him and he keep talking about me and shit about that situation. I'm gonna tell you, there was like, it's weird. Like like I said, she voluntarily sent proceeds to the broadcast, but those weren't free. There wasn't free proceeds because when you have people who support you, your time is what is being bought. Let me say that one more time. Your time is what's being bought. And what I mean by that is that I sat on at the broadcast during the pandemic and talked with that woman. I'm the one that taught her how to use StreamYard. I'm the one who did a lot of stuff offline that y'all didn't see. But at the end of the day, your brand and your people are the most important thing. And when she sat up there and tried to troll me or troll the chat, I couldn't let that go. I couldn't let that go because if let's say she started doing that to other people in the chat, and those people got memberships, those people are sending proceeds behind the scene, and they come to find out that I knew that was her, that person gonna be highly pissed that I let that person go at them. Y'all remember Jimboski? That's my life lesson. That's when it was like, yo, Sir King, wake the fuck up. That was the wake the fuck, well, amongst many others, but that was the main wake the fuck up moment. That let me know that there's some grimy people in this universe because we in business together, but you're like trolling people in my chat, and I'm like, why are you doing this? And that was hard for me because I'm like, I didn't understand like somebody you in business with is also trying to sabotage you. That and y'all who know that was ages ago. That was like if you knew that you definitely an old head. But I was like, damn, I'm in business with you. And I forgot how I got alerted. I think he forgot to switch accounts. So somebody brought it to my attention that he had the account that he was trolling on. And I was like, no, 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 no. Because to me, if I'm in business with you, we're good. Like I'm not gonna go to your page and play on your name and do that shit. Like we're exchanging tangible funds for I'm putting money in your pocket. And then your work is being reflected on my program. Like I think we're good. We're both getting benefit from what's being our engagement. So why do that? I didn't understand that. And that's when to me it shows like you can't trust nobody. Even if you're in business, don't trust no motherfucker because you don't know what's really going on. Like you just don't. And I was like, that was a wake up moment to me. That was really in life and everything, you just don't know. You just don't know. So that was crazy. Yes, he forgot to switch. Yeah, yeah, the time he forgot to switch accounts. I was like, oh no, he didn't. Ooh. Let me see what y'all saying. Bristol and Cecilia, yeah, some of these people are just as ruthless and cutthroat for either money or attention. It really is fascinating. It is. And let's not forget about now. Let's not forget about what I just told y'all. I was a threat. A threat. That's what you said, Lord, why me? Why me? You didn't have to. You didn't have to do anything to these people. You could have came on and just did what you did, stood alone, found a way to come in and do something different. And they sit up there and link up like Voltron and try to take you down. What did I do to Brianna? We was up here having a whole virtual dating thing for the people. Did nothing to her. What the fuck did I do to Bizarro? I ain't really do nothing to her. And then ODS, what the fuck did I do to him? Not them, but they sat there and came together and tried to take my nighttime spot. For whatever reason, I don't the fuck know. Then I got the crazy bitch running around here, go talk about report me to an actual government agency for being a motherfucking pedophile. For what? What the fuck did I do to her? Then I had this bitch, excuse my French, who nobody really knew, but running around to motherfucking other stereo telling people I'm a damn pedophile. That's the shit you gotta deal with. Like people, like I said, people want to be famous. People want to do all this stuff, but you don't know what you really asking for. So while people say, "Oh, you and your dead channel, you ain't getting no," you know what? I'm over here in the pina colada with a damn umbrella, okay, in a beach chair, just chilling with these dead numbers because it ain't all numbers ain't good numbers. It bring nothing but drama, problems, crazy motherfuckers, more eyes. Imagine how I felt. Some bitch will go over that in stereo, and I heard the conversation. So this wasn't no motherfucking second hand. And luckily, thank God, the guy was like, "Are you sure? Have you heard this? Are you?" And he was starting to get mad because he knew that the woman was what she was saying was motherfucking wrong. Like you don't put no jacket on nobody that you don't actually know and ain't no evidence. Because somehow he asked her question and he knew that she was full of shit. But they were so hateful at that time, so hateful and on this campaign to take me down that they were willing to spread that false information to anybody new. Oh, he did this. Oh, he like, and I'm like, what the fuck did I ever do to you? Uh, to have you do that? Like, I was just like, what? Like, so that's the stuff. Like, I just share with y'all. It's just like, and then another thing, be slow to anger. I've learned so much how like people like to hype you up just to get you and go, ooh, Sir King, somebody said this about you and get you, oh, what? Fuck, what? So but then I learned some people like to do that So you actually got to go to the source. Like that situation with what Lady Snoop got egg on her motherfucking face. She tried to put pills in me in a fight. But Pills ran over and did his own research. And so, no, that man wasn't even talking about me. You were the one that stood up there and put my name in the situation trying to get him to go at me. Right? So that's a situation where I apply the same thing. I go and investigate or do as much homework as I can before I respond to something. Because there are people who are up here, priority alert, who try to sit up there and no offense to priority alert, priority is doing his thing, is just alerting you to a situation. But you got to look at the catalyst of the situation. Who, what, how, who set that ablaze? Because there are people out here who are professional fire starters. They like to see things blow up based on what somebody allegedly said. Allegedly. So, what's the other thing? Oh, the main lesson with Lemon don't listen to. Stop talking about money. Never tell people about your money. Never tell Jay Wilson. His ass got in a whole IRS situation years ago, right? And probably going live 6 times a day because he owing back taxes. His words, not mine. He got in a whole eye. He's like, make sure you report your YouTube. Well, you should have been reporting as income, dummy. But never tell people about your money. Because either way, it's none of their business, right? It's none of their business. Lemon, he wanted to come on here and talk about, oh, what we got from stereo. That's not the people's business. Why you want to do that? Because on here, you're talking, what I tell you, thousands of people. They may get jealous because they can't do it. I never understood that. I mean, we have that common problem, what, in the rap culture, in just society in general. People want to sit up there and brag, but what happens? Somebody roll up on them and put a gun to their head and tell them, give me what you got. It ain't people's business what you getting. It isn't. It's not. So I hope he stops that. You know, I hope he stops that. I hope he stops that because that's going to lead to a very dangerous situation. There's no need. He up there saying, Lemon don't know who the fuck watching him in his neighborhood. He talking about he got such and such in his cash out. He don't know if Eli or Michael Jackson scheming and scamming to get his money out of his cash out. Why would you do that? I just don't understand that. I just don't understand that. I really don't. But the money is not, well, to tell you, say I was popping at the right time because right now, look at these fools and what they doing. I literally detached. I literally sat down today and I was like, there's no way in hell I could do what they're doing today. Like I couldn't because look at Jay Wilson. He literally has to be online every day to make a damn cent because the money ain't the same. The money is not the same like it was back then before. The money is not the same. And if we go into another pandemic, then okay, then yeah, it may work. But you literally cannot unless you get the numbers, unless you got the time like that. But unless you a big ass content creator that's getting the numbers like that, I don't know how they do it. I don't. I really don't. Like Jay Wilson is literally driving from his lunch. He wake up YouTube. Then if he got a break in the meeting, go live on YouTube. Lunch YouTube. Then he can't even drive safely on the road YouTube. He supposed to be over there at an event on the weekend celebrating the 4th of July YouTube. Like, come on, like it's just like nah. It's just like you become a slave at that point. Unless you got a financial goal that YouTube is trying to help you meet, then okay. But until then, it's like, I mean, I don't know. I'm not in their shoes. I'm not in that position. But the one thing I will tell you is, Lemon, don't get addicted to that YouTube chat because why all the old heads not here no more? Because YouTube cut the revenue share primarily, and they changed the rules of the game on how they gonna share their. I mean, they made it easier, but just because they made it easier, don't mean they're gonna share as much. To be honest, if they made it easier, that mean they're gonna cut what more, give you less. So I don't know. What's up with Tanya Jones? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Anybody got any other questions? Because that's all I really got to say. I mean, that's my testimony pretty much. I mean, YouTube is a good thing for people if they dealing in economic hardship. I mean, or what I'm gonna say, in a recession, right? I mean, recession, but then again, in a recession, people ain't giving money like that. So you really, well, thank goodness for asses, I guess you could say. But you know, I mean, you got to really decide if it's worth it. Like I said, a lot of life lessons can be learned. You can learn a lot from people in their situation and not have to go through it. You can learn a lot about people because they live in different places of the world. You know, um, it's very interesting, but you just got to be careful. You know what I mean? Just got to be careful. I mean, the first signs of doxing was what, DKL, when he sent that shirt to that lady. He sent that shirt to that lady and they found out where he lived. Like, that means that you gotta be careful at every single solitary thing because you think you're doing a business and they wind up trying to dox where you live. Child, it's crazy. It's a crazy world we live in. It's just a crazy world we live in. It's just, and then people fall out. Like, I'm gonna tell you, I watched YouTube for the longest time, and I saw how people were besties and they friends and they were this and they were that. And then when they fall out, they're like, okay, I'm gonna tell your business on YouTube. That's why I never share nothing with Lemon. I ain't share nothing with Lemon because I mean, yeah, we good now, but will we be good in the future? I don't know. I don't know. And I know he like to talk. He like to talk. Boy, that boy like to talk. He like to share things for a millisecond stunting on people. For a millisecond, he'll tell everything just to stunt on somebody. And we're like, okay, we didn't care, but we don't need to. I mean, you know what I mean? So it's just. Like I said, you just got to analyze people's virtual DNA. Virtual DNA, real life DNA, and see how they move and how they walk. Because it's just like, ooh. I just sit here shaking my head, y'all. I'm just like, damn. And money is not more valuable than loyalty. Money is not more valuable than loyalty because loyalty is a source that you can continue to go with. If you give somebody money, that's it. That's the last. That's the last of the transaction once that money is built up. But loyalty, you can keep going to somebody because you have a loyal rapport with them, right? So be careful putting the value on money that they don't have. So, but that's about it. Anybody got any questions? I'll drop my link real quick in case anybody want to say anything. Other than that, I'm gonna get going. I may be back tonight in case anything pops off. But other than that, that's about it. Y'all stay abreast of what's going on. I gotta do my more research on that financial system. They're gonna flip the switch on July 14th, and next week is crypto week, so it's very interesting how that all happened at the same time. Um, so do your homework on that. What's up, Jim? Gemini 75. How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Yeah, right. Well said, sincere. You said, hold on. You said loyalty is human currency. I agree. I totally agree. Yes, detached loyalty is everything. Yeah, some people don't understand that, but it's sad that some people may have to lose everything to truly understand that for a moment in time. For a moment in time, you know, you want to be relevant. It's crazy. Um, Sincere said, your name should be so strong, and you should be so favored that whenever you go, or wherever you go, your word and your presence is profitable. I agree. I agree. Got what you got. Also remember the haters. The haters don't want you to be profitable. Don't you want you to be memorable? But they ain't supposed to be around you if they're a hater. And just because everybody say yes and you the greatest, don't mean they really for you. You know what I'm saying? There's some sneaky witches on here, man. There's some sneaky witches on here that say, "Ooh, you better. You the greatest. That was going on with Lemon. Straight 100%. Jay Wilson be like, "Oh, I told Lemon he didn't need no Sir King. I told him he should venture out on his own." That's a hater. That's a devil in deacon's clothing. Because why would you sit up there and try to tear down something that was really not bothering you, but on the other hand, bringing enjoyment and enlightenment to the audience? At the time, what you didn't know, Jay Wilson, Lemon was not ready to break out on his own. We told him to do it. But to you to sit up there and be purposely messy, that's just weird to me. That's just weird. That's like me telling uh Pizarro, you don't need Brianna. You don't need Brianna. Stop going to her channel. You don't need her. Oh, hold on. Somebody coming up. Oh, this is Urban. Hold on. What's up, Urban? How you doing?
Big dog. What
Hey,
is
what's going on?
What's going on, man?
Oh, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, I hear you. Yeah.
All right. Is it coming through loud and clear?
Yeah, I just think it's a system issue.
Okay, but you can hear me loud and clear.
Yeah, I hear you good.
Okay. All right. What's going on, Big dog? Greetings to the chat, everybody out there. Decided to pop in on you, man. What's on your mind?
Oh, nothing. I was just going down a trip down memory lane real quick, and we was just talking about how Lemon got doxing activity in his Discord.
Mm. Yeah, I had meant to say this on your platform before. If you go on YouTube and you type in Discord is evil, there's a video that has 4 million views. But I've known this about Discord. I wanted to mention to you before, but Discord allows you to set up your own servers, and it is probably one of the easiest platforms to dock somebody on, and they've refused to change their security policy. So if you are on Discord, there's nothing to protect you from being doxxed at all. So all these people running over to Discord, they need to know that. Stay away from Discord, big time. Were you aware of that? Can you hear me, SK? Oh.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, it looks like we dropped out for a second there.
Yeah, that's better. That's better. Yeah.
Okay. Did you hear what I said?
Yeah, I think the last part I heard you said Discord is bad for doxing.
Yeah, it's known for that. It's known for that. Just go on YouTube and type in Discord is evil. There's a whole bunch of videos about the dark side of Discord and how it's known for that. Also, there's a federal investigation going on like what you call a social media, for lack of a better term, social media gang. It's just like a group of techies that are targeting children.
Mm.
The FBI is chasing them all around the world. They're encouraging children to harm themselves.
Oh wow.
I hear an echo. Do you hear that echo?
No,
Echo?
but I turned myself off in case you so you won't hear it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you guys should take a look at that. It's not safe. It's not a safe place for children. And there's a ton of children on Discord. But yeah, there's a huge federal investigation to this. I'll call it well, the federal government calls it a gang, a cyber gang that is getting access to your children when they're alone at night, messing around on. It originated on Discord, but now it's targeting all social medias. But its primary realm was Discord. And there's this huge investigation. There are several children that have hurt themselves permanently from being encouraged by these evil cycles on Discord. So I would advise everyone to stay away. Roblox, exactly. Thank you. I would advise everybody to stay away from Discord. Not trying to discourage anybody's content creation or anything like that, but it's well documented that you should stay away from Discord. I heard you talking about what else? Oh, about the new ISO. Uh, regarding that new ISO, that has to do with the trying to get. So the problem with cryptocurrency is that it's secretive, right? You can move money around, can't be traced. So it pulls that together. And when you see people, when you see different cryptos, heading in that direction, that's saying that they want to collaborate with the government. They don't want to be, because what's going to happen is governments, as they start as countries start introducing their own digital currencies, they're going to start shutting down the traditional way digital currencies work now. And so those that are jumping on the bandwagon with these new changes are saying, hey, we don't want to be X'd out. So it makes it easy so that you can track digital currency. The other thing is to let your people know out there, the banking system has got a lot of antiquated regulations, particularly when it comes to international wire transfers. It hasn't been changed since 1974, and
Yeah.
so the update is finally changing that, because right now, as it exists, you got Nigerians and Russians that can get into your bank account pretty easily, from a text message, and send your money to multiple countries. And at the last country, it just disappears. There's no trace of it. Sending it to, bizarre small islands, places like Liechtenstein, Nevis, pick any small country that's an country island. And so what they're doing is they're closing those loops so you can't move money around and make it disappear. And there's been, millions. People have wired, you know, multi-millions, right? Get access to a large bank or to someone who's, extremely wealthy, get that money, through various means, and then wire it around, and the money's gone without a trace. And they should have closed that loop, decades ago, but they're finally gotten to that.
Yeah, I think they said it's taking place this weekend, so we'll see.
Yeah. What else?
What's up, Ron?
What else? Go ahead, Turkey.
No, I said, what's up, Ron P? Um,
Ron Peasy. What's going on, big dog?
so sister, his name is Urban Critic.
Yeah, yeah. My name's Urban. Everybody calls me Urban Soul Sister. What else? What else was something critical that you talked about? Your testimony, attracting into your life. When you said your
No,
testimony,
I was just reflecting on things for the new people and stuff like that, and what how social media and how you can learn so much through this apparatus for life, dealing with life and so forth, and not have to go through your own lessons. The hard, like, you get introduced to so many different people with so many different personalities that you can learn real quickly how to deal with people in your real life. Um, and not have to go through that, issue of discord or it be contentious.
yeah, yeah. I think that you definitely have. I've seen your growth, Sir King. So I think you definitely have. The thing about life the thing about life is getting kicked down and then getting back up. This is going to happen to you over and over again in life. You're gonna get kicked down. It's about the bounce back, right? And how you deal with adversity. And that's one of the things I think you've learned. And I don't see anyone else. I can't think of anyone else here in the beef sector that has developed some type of growth from that. I would say that you're the only person. Like, you really uh, learn to navigate things, and I can actually see the growth. And that
Yeah,
has crossed over into your, and also have been able to apply that to your real life. Because a lot of people have gotten, once you get to the top over here in the beef sector, you're going to be attacked, and you can see how many people have stepped away. All your top content creators, have backed away. Nicole Tyler, what's his name, Sean Bradley, Five A backed, like, you can go down the list. Heidi Flyucci. If you go down the list, you can see where they all got this scenario where they had to move away. Man, there's a huge echo going on. Let me see if I can fix it on my end.
You might have to drop down and come back.
Okay.
That might fix it. What's up, ATL Gail? How you doing? Good to see you. But I think also based on what Urban was saying too, is a lot of people. I mean, it's hard to stay on an apparatus when, let me just be honest, when you're used to accustomed to making a certain amount, and then that comes down, that's depleted. I mean, that situation with Fabe, from a marketing standpoint, that was a big hit, right? Because somebody says you don't have a name, they lay legal claim to that name, and then you don't know what to do. Like you can no longer use that name. I mean, and then they're saying they have the rights. I don't know if that necessarily took her off. There may have been some off the, what they call it, real life stuff that took her down. Who knows? I mean, but a lot of people are here for coins. It seems like. Let me say something. If YouTube wants to sit up here and say, Jay Wilson, your channel is demonetized, he will not be back. He will not be back. He'll come back, but he won't. I mean, I don't think he'll be coming out 6 times a day. Because coin keep him here. So, you know, you know. So
Can you hear me?
that's yeah. I hear you now. Do you hear the echo?
No, it's gone.
Okay.
The other thing I was going to say is I heard you talk about. So to finish off what I was saying is that a lot of people have been through a lot of trial and tribulation here, especially those that became leaders of the pack. The most popular ones in the sector. Getting the most money, the most attention. They've all gone through a lot of chaos, and you can see where their personal lives were dramatically affected. So you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? But the impact on your real life, I've seen some real impact. People that were affected in their real life on an emotional level, on a mental health level. You talked about. I've heard someone mention the question about Carnival Cruise. I thought that was interesting because Carnival Cruise, have been kind of, to give you some examples of how Black culture, the negative aspects of Black culture, impacted business. If you look at, do you remember McDonald's used to have the Ronald McDonald commercials with the clown with the red hair and the
Yeah.
so now McDonald's has commercials that feature African Americans,
Hmm.
and McDonald's are known for these viral incidents where people get beat up, where people jump over the counter. I think McDonald's was probably the first business that started having this impact, this negative impact of like hood culture. McDonald's was probably the first business that had that issue where you see, somebody jumping over the counter and beating up the, the clerk behind the desk because they were one chicken nugget short. And then this started to spread, right? As it started attracting business, which, from a business perspective, there's a lot of money to be made when it comes to urban areas, which is why they started, which is why you start seeing a McDonald's in every corner, just like you see a liquor store in every corner in hood areas. And then look at what's it called? Is it called Waffle House? Waffle House used to be known as a redneck, white gravy and grits spot. And now, it's the WWF. It's WFC. People are in there jumping over the counters doing karate kicks and right. And you see the same thing with IHOP. IHOP has become known for the exact same thing. This middle of the night, wild drunken brawls, people back. You got people fighting, and if you look in the background, you got people back there making their own food.
Yes,
people going into the deep freezer and on the grill, breaking the grill down. And so, obviously the same thing is shifted over to Carnival Cruise. And they're saying, we're not going to have it. We're not going to be the ghetto cruise. What's that? Like Soul Plane. Carnival Cruise has become the Soul Cruise, like Soul Plane. And so they're trying to back away from that. So what happened is they made a ton of money from Black culture. It's kind of like the rap. It's kind of like an R&B and hip hop where the white rapper comes in and makes a ton of money, then they go rock and roll. So you see the same exact thing happening here with Carnival. They made a ton of money from being the hood cruise. Now that they've made that money, they're like, hey, no more hip hop, no more weed, no more twerking. That's that blowback.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Black Pearl, how you doing? Ron P says that's a good point, Urban. So yeah, it's I would say my commentary on that was just that, due to social media, Carnival Cruise Line is, trying to put a kibosh to that because they feel it may hurt their brand reputation. So
yeah, that's what it is. That's also what it is after they've made their money from branding and targeting urban areas. Like I said, McDonald's switched from Ronald McDonald to people to little black kids singing about how much they love chicken nuggets. Once they've gotten, there's a ceiling of how much money you can make until you need to swap over, right, back to white culture. And so, that's what they're doing is that they no longer want the negative social media that was advertising is now affecting the bottom line. So they've reached that ceiling. So now it's, no more hood culture. We made our money. You see that a lot in business. And it's disappointing to see our people act out that way. You know what I mean?
Gemini says I've been on a Carnival the last 2 years, and it's been a mixture of races, all different age groups, and haven't seen anything bad happen.
Yeah. I think, well, obviously, like most things, it's not, you may not see it every single time, but it's become the predominance of what you see on social media. Social media has changed where we view things, but you can go on any social media platform. You go on YouTube right now and type in, ghetto Carnival Cruise, and there's literally millions of videos. But social media does have a way of, propagating things. And definitely that's become the new form of marketing. Even if you didn't intend it to be, something goes viral. You've seen businesses go out of business because of a viral, video. One bad incident, and you're out of business because of social media. And the same thing goes for influencers. They have an impact. They have an impact on social media. Influencers have an impact now on business. So we're in this whole era where things are rapidly changing.
Very true.
Because of social media. Was there anything else? Was there something else that you mentioned?
No, I got about 10 more minutes, but no, I didn't really do. I mean, I just talked about a couple of things. Like I said, the whole situation with what was going on with Lemon and that Discord and how they doxed Michael Jackson, not the real Michael Jackson. And then just my own testimony to those who are new here. And then we talked about ODS a little bit in regards to him having a flashback moment because last night he apologized for a situation that occurred about 4 or 5 years ago where Bobby was on my panel.
He interrupted you, jumped right in front of you and started talking to Friday.
Right, exactly. So it kind of was a reflection of what happened yesterday because I could have done the same thing, but I didn't. Not if 5A popped up over there, but Lemon had popped up over there. And I could have interjected and, just ruined the moment if I wanted to, but I didn't. So pretty much. So.
Yeah. I want to talk. Go ahead, Sir Kate.
So I was going to ask you about the whole Tesla situation, how Trump is being seen as a bluffer. Now people are not respecting him and taking him seriously because he's bluffing. And Elon may come around as being the hero. And all this.
Yeah, that's a great observation. That's a great observation. I think that Elon stepped in, right, and his hope was to, obviously Elon has been well known as a Democrat. All of a sudden, he's on Trump's team. And I'm glad you mentioned that, man. That's a really, really good point. I'm glad you talked about that today because I've been thinking about this and talking about this to some of my peers from my fraternity brothers. So take a look at what Elon Musk wanted to do was, was business, right? The government contracts. He has more government contracts than anybody, ever. And he wanted to lock down, especially when it comes to the electronic vehicles. That was one of the biggest things he wanted to do. To That's because one of his major investments there. He's doing a lot when it comes to these electronic vehicles. If you take a look at what's been going on here recently in Atlanta and several other cities, there's a full rollout of these Uber type vehicles where there's no driver. There's a full rollout, no longer any test rollouts, but people can actually download the app in certain cities, and a car will pull up and take you to wherever you want to go. There's also a full rollout of the robots that are delivering food. So there's no longer any. These are moved from the testing phase to the soft rollouts of these things. But in regards to electronic vehicles, that's what Elon wanted. That's one of the major things he wanted to secure. Also regarding space contracts, but I think the way Elon Musk was able to convince Trump to be on his team was, he's a technological genius, and so I think he sat back and looked at the voting system, and I think he figured out the algorithm, right? Because all voting now is done electronically. And so I think he sat back and looked at it and said, look, I figured out how we can win this thing. I figured out a glitch in the voting system, and here's what we need to do. And this will make sure that you lock up all the votes. And if you take a look at the voting map, people were astonished that Trump had votes in areas that he doggone would never get any votes. So I think that was his approach to Trump was, look, he did a presentation saying, hey, look, I can lock up these votes for you. Because of the fact it's using technology, I figured out the algorithm. I figured out a way that we can lock these votes down. And here's my plan to make sure you get elected. And politics is about quid pro quo, right? So they had a discussion where Elon said, okay, I'll give you this and you give me that. And it all fell out because of their personalities, right? They're both megalomaniacs.
No, I agree because they were saying that he won certain areas and like you said, he said thanks to Elon we won and stuff like that. So no, I agree. That's crazy if he was able to crack that algorithm like that.
Yeah. When you start moving on to technology, there's always a way around things. When we start, as we're introducing all this, as we're in this technological renaissance, there's always an avenue. If you study it long enough, you can figure out a way in. And that's how technology will be that way forever. You got cybersecurity versus, the hacker community. And it's always, and as we move forward, it will always be this way. People will be hacking into these automated cars, right? You'll be taking
Right.
one of these automated cars to someplace and they're, end up driving into a creek somewhere or taking you someplace crazy.
And that's the crazy part about it is that we're promoting this but not looking at the security concern. Like what?
Yeah.
You know?
That's always the issue when it comes to relying on technology. And as we, another thing about technology is the replacement of workers. Man, the echo is so loud. I think you have to mute. So when the other thing is that pay attention to how. So gig work saved a lot of people who were having difficulty in the job market. So if you notice during the pandemic, people that did gig work, right, were allowed to claim unemployment. That was a first. Prior to that, gig work was considered not work. So what's happening now is gig work is being handled by automation. by AI, by technology. They're closing the loop on all the gig work stuff. So if you're a truck driver, they're moving towards these automated, trucks. If you're a person who drives Uber, they're moving towards, the automated cars. And so as those jobs disappear, which are easy jobs to do, which a lot of people have felt very comfortable with doing those jobs. Okay, I'm my own boss. This is easy money. They're closing the loop on that with technology. So then it makes you wonder, okay, so what are these people going to do? And they're getting rid of the immigrant community. So it puts you in a scenario where you may have to do something like people who don't have a skill may end up doing what the immigrants are doing. And especially our youth, people are not trying to, pick corn or can corn or any of those types of jobs they associate with immigrants. So the job market's looking crazy. You got to pay attention to these things and kind of figure out how to navigate your way through all these things. One thing is for sure when it comes to these systems. Go ahead.
Can you hear me? No, I was actually thinking because I saw an article today how they're dedicating all this money to teaching teachers AI. And I'm like, wait a damn minute. Like, you want to teach these teachers AI, you need to be teaching these people AI so they could be at least compete in this job for us and stuff like that. So I was thinking about calling writing the article, or excuse me, the author of the article, and be like, who is like leading the cavalry regarding this? So, because this don't make no sense. 18, if you're doing that, you're just gonna at least have 13 years before you see a return on that investment in that child. So I don't know.
And so there's some confusion when you look at the administration, the current administration. There's some confusion here regarding removing immigrants, and then how do we replace what they've been doing, because businesses are losing money because for so many years we've been using the immigrant community. And so if you take a look at this new BB bill, the new big beautiful bill, what they're trying to do is force Americans back into those. This is what this is. This is replacing the immigrants with the people that have traditionally used social services, and welfare.
There's going to be a revolution. You're not going to sit up here and force people who've been conditioned to not work on a field to now work on a field with dirt, insects, and pretty much like physically straining labor. Then, I mean, unless you do it, you're just not. I mean, that's not the American culture right now, especially with the youth. So, sadly.
I agree. It's been going on for too long, right? It's too ingrained. And so what happens is what they've done is they pulled out the rug saying you don't have any choice. You don't have any choice. I mean, when it comes to things like housing, Section 8 and things like these are programs that have existed for forever. You have generations upon generations of people that have relied upon it, and so then you just snatch the rug out. Zoop. So now you've got these people that have got to navigate this because they've been so trained and used to one specific way. So now, it leads to chaos. But the main thing that's going to lead to is a huge increase in crime. That's the first. That is the first effect that's going to happen from that is a huge increase in crime.
That's true. That's true.
So it's interesting, moving forward. All of this is very interesting, but I would say focus on jobs. Focus on jobs. For example, these trucks, these semi trucks that are automated, right? Like the automated taxis, these semi trucks that are supposed to be driving across the country now, as this continues to build, which is Xing out truck drivers. Learn how to fix these smart trucks and these AI automated trucks. Learn how to fix them. Get into that side of the technology where if these things break down, you can fix them. That's one thing. And the other thing is the medical community, start looking at jobs, within the medical community, because those are jobs that are never going to go away. So either get into technology on repairing drones. You got children looking into the military, guide them towards this type of technology because the military is always on the forefront of technology. So guide your sons and daughters. Okay, if you're joining the military, look at drone repair. You see what I'm saying? This is how you navigate these things, moving forward. We got to be smarter we got to be smarter and not being so easily distracted by social media chaos. You feel me?
Oh, I feel you. But let me ask you this: Do you think that Elon's company going to suffer like Tesla for challenging pretty much, Trump in
This,
that
this is,
capacity? You know,
yeah, that's an excellent question. It's a fantastic question. There's definitely a war brewing between those two. Elon Musk is the richest man in the world. He Can he start his own party? Because see what's happening now, right? Because of this bill, a lot of people are gearing up to go against Trump. And Elon Musk is going to be the leader of this revolution that's anti-Trump, back on the Democratic side, right? And with all of that money, it's now going against Trump versus for Trump. So this is, yeah. Well, I don't think he's going to suffer. I think he's going to have he's suffering now, but there's definitely going to be a rebound. There's definitely going to be a rebound because he switched sides and he's going to Trump. So there's going to be a big war between those two, the richest man in the world, who's worth $500 billion. This is Trump. So it'll be interesting to see how this is going to do. But Elon Musk has the money to invest in anything and everything he can do to bring him down. He has the money to invest in anything and everything he can do to bring him down. So this is going to be a vicious war.
Mhm. No, I agree. Like I said, he may come out being the hero. Themis O says, I know we will be retired before that is an issue. It's too many loads on the book. They can't be filled already. Trust me, I have the book loads and I freight for my husband.
Yeah, it's a good point. There's a phase in, right? Like right now they're in what I call soft trials when it comes to these automated trucking systems and automated taxis. We're in the inception of it. They're actually rolling it out now where you can pull up an app and do it. And there's certain, test cities that they're doing this in. And so little by little, just the same way that Uber started, little by little, in some little small town, Uber popped up, right? And now you can get Ubers internationally. So that's how the rollout's going to go. But as quickly as technology advances, especially since they're using AI, um, we're going to hit that. We're going to hit that era of where it just explodes. And so you don't know exactly when that's going to come, but pay attention to technology news. When social media dropped on us, it just kind of came out of nowhere, right? And look where it is now. So definitely pay attention to what's going on in technology news. But you've got to prepare for these things now. You can't wait and say, that's a couple of years down the road, because technology moves so rapidly. Another thing is they're using AI. I heard you mention this, Sir King. They're using AI to screen people for jobs now. They're pretty much putting AI in the front of everything, right? And so instead of having recruiters, do all this background checks and screenings and these different antiquated software systems that screen people, they're using AI. So what happens is everything is sped up. AI thinks way faster than, 100 million times faster than things we're used to. So when it comes to everything from content creation to business ideas to business resolutions, when you throw AI in there, it speeds up how things are done. And so it's changing things so rapidly, so quickly. Project management has been something that people can rely on as far as I would have recommended people to go out and get a project management certificate as a guaranteed way to make at least 50 to 60K a year. Get certified in project management. A lot of that is now being handled by AI, and that's changing very quickly. Like it's more and more what you can do as a project manager is being done by AI. But that used to be something you could fall back on. without having a degree. So just to show you how quickly things are changing. Yeah, baby
Um,
boomer. Go ahead, sir.
so she says too many mom and pop boomers in control at the dot and at the trucker companies. Hell, they barely in 10 years of only paper logs and that being extended. Her comment is, I think she's saying that these people who see that may be slow to adopt that because of just them being slow to change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, baby boomers are still running the world. America is considered the global leader. Everybody follows America, American currency. I remember being in Afghanistan, right, in the desert area where there was nothing around but sand and mountains, right? That's all I could see all around me. And so I was on a military convoy, and I wanted to. There was an Afghan guy sitting on the side of the road that was selling hats, and I wanted to get one of those handmade Afghan hats. So I told the convoy to pull over, and when I got out, I tried to hand him the local currency, and he was like, "No." This was an old Afghan guy. Looked like he was 150 years old. I tried to hand him the local currency, and he was like, "No, dollars only." So that shows you U.S. dollars only. That shows you the impact of American culture. And so I'm saying that to align with what she's saying as far as, we still have the baby boomer system that's intact, that's running the world, right? The U.S. dollar is the global currency. I've been all over the world, Sir King, and everybody recognizes a dollar. In some of the most remote places, they recognize what an American dollar is. So yeah, but see, the baby boomer generation is in decline, right? That they're going to decline. And so what you have coming up now is people raised on TikTok, right? The TikTok generation is up and coming. And take a look at their behaviors, and take a look at how they've been programmed by social media. What do you think? What do you think the TikTok? What kind of president do you think the TikTok generation is going to produce? What do you think, Sir King? What kind of president is the TikTok generation going to produce?
One like Elon. I mean, but
That's a good point. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, one is Elon, but that one that's more in touch. You're not going to see another president that's 80 years old. You're going to see one that's younger, more hip, just more in touch with the younger culture, to be honest.
Yeah, bingo. We're going in the future. We're going to have a president that has an android on his staff, some type of robot or social media. This is the future. This is going to be a very tech friendly future. That's where our society is headed. So think about these things moving forward, because these are things that we can't. It's too late. You can't put the genie back. You can't put the technological genie back in the bottle. So
I disagree. I disagree with that, because if the robots show that they have a sense of autonomy and threat to the human race, I do think you will see things begin to change where they don't have so much. It's not so much exploratory. You know, that's the thing I would see. You know, where you have what they call it, a sentient.
yeah, right, exactly right. Where technology becomes sentient, and meaning that it understands, it becomes human, right? It has human emotion. It's basically a new entity, a society, right? So we have humans, we have animals. The whole technological, these technocrats believe that you can create a new version of human, a new version of what it means to be human.
Right,
Something
but but then it
Right.
also knows how to protect itself. Like it will see like how to preserve its life, right? So if it sees that humans are a threat to its existence, then it will try to stop that and potentially kill a human. You know what I'm saying? So
Right. Yeah. That's in there for sure. I mean, if once you become sentient, meaning you have meaning that you have consciousness, right? You're not just following a software program, but you are a new creation. This is what these humanists believe is that we can create a new version of man. Just like God said, let there be light, let there be life. They're saying the humanists believe, the technological humanists believe that we can say, let there be a brand new man, the same way God did, that we created with technology. And that's why you see all these sci-fi movies, like Resident Evil and the Terminator and the Matrix, and this is the future direction. But so what the point is you were talking about, Sir Ken, when you said you disagree, is there's going to be a fight between the two because technology is going to use logic and say, okay, well, look, these humans are screwing the world up. Nuclear weapons, we have entire species that are extinct. Like the humans got to go. In order for us to survive, they got to go. And so, humanity's gonna be like, okay, well, wait a minute. Now we got to get rid of it. Now we got to get rid of this genie that we pulled out of the bottle. And so this is where our future is headed. And what you got to think about is people say that humanity is so self-destructive. So and I've heard you say this before, Sir King, is why are we jumping on this whole AI thing? Why are we jumping on this whole robotic technology thing? And you got to wonder about the reason why we're like the moth to the fire. Why are we so self-destructive? Because it appears that we're heading on this self-destructive path.
no, I agree. I agree. I just don't understand why you're messing with something that's already showing that it's going to make your life harder, which is job displacement. Huh? Like why? I mean, just because like you said, oh, it's going to accelerate things and make things faster. But is that what we really need? Acceleration? You know? But acceleration to a crime spree? That's the part of me I don't understand.
Well,
So
the natural order of things. One last point I'm going to make: the natural order of things is the way that we currently think, right? The way humanity thinks. We evolve. We think at a certain pace, at a certain level. That's the natural order of things. When you throw a curveball in there, you introduce AI. It thinks a million times faster than us. That's when you start throwing this huge curveball in society, of where things just start spiraling out of control at a pace that we can't keep up with. So at some point we gotta, come together and slow everything down. But that's my final note on that.
I agree, and I mean, there's a movie. I forget what the movie was, but I think there was a movie where like they introduced laws and legislation dealing with how robots can be used in society to prevent it from threatening the society. So I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah. All good points. All good points. I'm not gonna tie you up anymore, so King. Always a pleasure, man, to pop in and chat with you and your chat.
No, I appreciate it. The conversation. Last thing I want to say, going back to what you were saying, like the new president, like I say, Elon may wind up being the new president just because if he's ever able to turn this thing around with, Trump, I think he would emerge as the one that America would want as his president. So just think
I think that's possible. Yeah,
what I'm saying.
that's possible because he has enough money. Currently, he can't be president because of our laws, but he has enough money of where he could change the laws, or same situation where he was in Trump's pocket, where he was, like the co-president, where he could put himself as a co-president. But he has enough money to do that. That's why I said this is going to be a pretty. It could be a very vicious war
Right,
between.
because I see Trump going after Tesla, right? Because
Yeah.
I was reading an article that said really this situation with Elon and Trump is really bad for Elon to a degree because a lot of companies, aka China, would allow Elon to do what he's doing because his personal relationship with Trump. So, but then again, if he found a way to outmaneuver him and stuff like that, then who knows? So, the other thing I want to ask you, like, to how great of a degree do you think he would sacrifice Tesla? Because, Trump could be like, here, no more manufacturing in the United States of Tesla because of whatever group, treason, whatever. I don't know.
Hmm.
What do you think? Is that a possibility?
Is it a possibility that
He could severely limit the operation and sales of Teslas in the United States.
yeah, yeah, he could definitely do. He can absolutely, he could definitely the same way he cleared the way, and previous administrations cleared the way for Elon to do his thing. You look at all what they call it, corporate welfare. The way
Mm-hmm.
Elon Musk had all these government subsidies and all these contracts, yeah, he can definitely pull that back, which would definitely affect the value of Tesla. Yeah, he can roll that back. Absolutely, he can focus his energy on destroying Tesla. Yeah,
Yeah, that's an interesting way you say it. Focus his energy.
yeah.
That's
So,
interesting. All right. Well, it's a great conversation, Urban. Thank you. Sorry for the feedback. If you hear it still.
yeah, always a pleasure to pop in. Shout out to the chat, Ron TV, Brixton 5. I'm still working on my British accent, Brixton, babe. But yeah, always a pleasure to drop in on you, SK.
Okay, definitely. I'll send you a message in the comment section.
No
I got a
problem.
question. A couple questions.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Ciao,
Thank you,
everybody.
Urban. See you.
All right. Ciao.
All right, y'all. Hopefully, y'all enjoyed that conversation. I think it's very interesting, the conversation that we had. Please feel free to thumbs up the live. Thank you once again to Urban. Thank you, Team Myself, for dropping in and sharing your comments about what we were saying. Gemini and all the other people. I'm sorry I couldn't flash your comments. But once again, thank you to my moderator. Appreciate y'all. Thank you to Bo32. But to cap this all off, regarding the YouTube streets, be careful. You don't know everybody. Everybody is different, just different. Regarding our conversation with Urban, I'm kind of a little bit petrified because when you start talking about the inability to support yourself, that's probably one of the most, unnerving things ever, and you're losing it to something that doesn't need to eat, birth a baby, or whatever. But like Urban did say, instead of being perplexed about the situation and whining about the situation, do what you can to get ahead of the situation. So if you make yourself valuable, you may be able to get you a job or be able to prepare from being displaced. But that's what I have to say. So thank y'all for being an engaging audience. If you want to, feel free to suggest your downside so I can crown. And thank y'all once again. All right. I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good one. Thank you, Victoria, for your comments as well. I haven't seen you before. I mean, I've seen you before, but I appreciate your commentary, so thank you for that. Okay. Hold on 1 second.
Sir King.
Canvas.
Sir King. Sir King. Sir King. Sir King.
Okay, Victoria, regarding your statement, yeah, I agree. He's not for us. I sometimes wonder did he get what he needed from that White House and just about to dip out. But yeah, but what Elon does do, he does keep them people on their toes. And that's what we definitely need in the White House. So with that being said, I'm about to head up out of here. What you say, Michi Black? Yeah, y'all have a great night. Take care. Remember to be the change y'all want to see in the world. Thank you once again to the Avatar Nation family. I appreciate y'all. Because Lord have mercy. I'm glad we are not going through what they going through over there in their community. All right. Well, bye, y'all. Take care. Have a good one.